TDUBB.
You know it is.
How you doing, my man? You're coming in loud and clear. I got your picture on the screen so everybody can look at your beautiful face. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm doing great. On daddy duty, just picked up my daughter from dance, taking her home, and, got to do daddy duties before I do anything else.
I understand that. I have a 3-year-old getting ready to be 4-year-old. I'm a very old man, distinguished man with a young child. I completely understand where you're coming from, T-Dub.
Hey, look, we're not old. We're seasoned. We're seasoned.
Well, I said distinguished. I said distinguished. Elder gentleman. Elder of the church. I think we are elders of the church. I've got.
That's what we are.
No, go ahead. Don't let me stop you. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I'll say that's what we are. That's exactly what we are.
Let's start with letting everybody know DeeJayTDUBB is a DJ that is, I could be wrong. I take you as the leader, one of the leaders of the Syndicate DJs, as one of your mantras that you're into. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct. And what it is I don't like to brand myself as one of the leaders or the leaders. I think of us as a collective group. It just so happened to be something I wanted to do, right, something I wanted to put together. But that's why when I incorporated as a family. I incorporated as, hey, when I make a decision, I run it by everyone, even though everyone don't like to check their emails, but yeah, I still run it by everyone.
I feel you on that note.
I still run it by everyone before I do anything. So, yes. But that is me. I am one of the founders, or the founder of Spin Syndicate.
Okay. And today, before the interview's over, I hope to connect Spin Syndicate DJs with the Arizona DJ pool, which I'm a part of. I would like to incorporate some sounds and records that you guys are picking up and play them out here, and I would like to pass on some of the better records that are circulating out here regionally, and so we can connect these DJs and artists together and make it better for everybody.
I would love to do that. That's my whole thing. Well, it's about unification.
I agree.
So I'm definitely with it.
I'm glad you're down with that, but that's later on. Don't let me rush and get to. We got plenty of time, and I want to stretch this thing out and get to it because, weirdly enough, I feel like we are two flowers that grew in the same very small pot, but I feel like I don't know enough about you as I should. I did do my research, and I went and listened to several of your wonderful commission mixtapes. That were very big. They're all on Dat Piff, and I went and listened to several of them after I got the correct info, and I was very impressed and saddened. One, I was saddened that I had not heard them before, and two, I was very impressed at the quality, a great mix of established and VA artists on these mixtapes. So as we creep back into the past, what started the commission mixtape series? What got you into that?
All right. Now, I respect you, OG. I got to correct you on one thing.
Okay, please do.
Everyone does it. Their albums. And this is what made me do it. Because at the time, between 2000 and 2010, everybody was dropping the mixtape. I mean, 50 dropped the mixtape like every month. Like it was a 50 Saves the World, G-Unit Commission, G-Unit on Top of the World,
Lil Wayne,
Lloyd Banks Workout, Lil Wayne. Everybody was dropping mixtapes. It was like a mixtape. It was overflooded with mixtapes. So when I got myself, I don't want to say established in Richmond, but when I started making waves in Richmond, I started doing mixtapes. But here was the thing. People would listen to my mixtape for like a day or two, and then they were on to the next one. They were on to the next one. They were on to the next one. And I was like, what could I do to not only be relevant, but to stay in people's foresight for at least 40 days? My target was 40 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, what could I do? So I got with, and this is at the time when me and Foolish was working together heavily. Foolish and I was like, let's do an album. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we had the idea for the album of just putting people on and going from there. But then I thought about it. I'm not even gonna lie, Swerve. I was like, I know majors. Like, can pick up the phone and call majors. Mm-hmm. And was like, album with major and independent artists use it as a platform for the major artists to get free promotion in pub. I said, and use it for the new up and coming indie artists to get out there. First thing Foolish was like, nah, they're not gonna do that. I was like, we have to try. He was like, I'm telling you, they ain't gonna do that. I was like, Foolish, we know people. They would do it. It took me like a week to convince him. He was like, I don't know, Dub. I don't know, bro. So fast forward, we make the calls, and boom, people were like, yes. Like, I went to Knox. I was like, yo, I got this project I'm working on. I want to do this. And the funny part with Knox was, I was like, yo, Kleph is involved. He was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
As soon as I said Kleph, Knox was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
And
rest in power, rest in peace to Kleph. Kleph Dollaz, just so our listeners know, is one of our Richmond, VA legends that actually had a lot of success in the industry. He had a two-man group that made him a slight wave, and then he went on to produce and work with a lot of artists. And he, just one of the guys that I know in the local scene we all looked up to that unfortunately passed away. And we still keep him dear in our memory, Kleph Dollaz. Just one as a side note for the people that aren't aware, TDUBB. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said that, because there's a backstory to that album as well. So with that album, I went to Kleph. I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. And of course, he was like, this is a great idea. People going to do it. And when, like I said, Nas was on board. So Kleph had been working with Bad Seed, and I'm from Brooklyn, so I've always been a Bad Seed fan.
When did you arrive in Richmond from Brooklyn? When did you?
Well, I came from. Well, I went from New York
Other
to
places.
Norfolk to Virginia Beach. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I came to Richmond.
Okay. When did you? Just for my knowledge, when did you drop down in Richmond? And we'll get right back to the
98.
98. Okay. Prime time. Okay. Go ahead. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
98. Put it this way, that was when Circuit City was popping and Mike Street was doing the Circuit City commercials.
No doubt. I remember that. Yeah. I remember 98 well. My friends and I, Divine and a gentleman from the Godfellas, got together and did a single that we actually pressed on wax and incorporated with Sir RJ. We were going to be the rap version of the After Dark Flavor Squad. And we pressed up a single, and it went double wood. Nobody really cared for it that much. They did play the instrumental a couple times, but it was a learning process. So 98, I remember it well. 98.
No, that's funny that you said that, because there's a backstory with RJ with this too. It's a backstory with you in this too.
Okay, well give us all the backstories. I got time today, like the little crack on the internet. I got time today, so give it to us.
All right, so Kleph was working with C, so I was like, yo, I'm a huge C fan. He was like, yo, listen to this song. So I heard the song, so he made the call. He called C, he called Talib, he called Mims. He was like, yo, I got this joint. My man's going to use it on his album. Everyone was like, yes. Everyone was like, yes.
It's incredible that I was immediately impressed by the lineup that you had on these. And I'm sorry to call it a mixtape. It was that era. I got confused. I want to tell the public, when you listen to the projects, they're not, the songs aren't mixed together. They're well produced and well technically engineered and finished. So it was my mistake on the mixtape line. We can move on from that.
No, you're good.
So you got Kleph
so
Kleph is connecting you to people, and everybody is down.
Yeah, everyone is yes. Mia the Fox, she had a joint with Pharrell. Everyone was like yes. So I get it done. The first one. Kleph, of course, Kleph arranged it, and this is where I learned arrangement. Mm-hmm. This is where I learned how to arrange an album.
Yeah,
like people think, oh, you just put an album together, put a song. I finish this song, this goes. No. You have to literally listen. Your album has to have a flow.
Yeah,
like he said, it's like watching a movie. It's a beginning. It's a beginning, a press, and I guess you can say a crescendo, and then a resolution, and then the end. That's how your album should flow.
Yeah, I agree.
So he arranged the album, and his arrangement was just magnificent. So we release it, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm nervous, I'm scared, because besides, just doing an album, when you do an album, people want to make sure that you're not getting paid off of this. So I had to go through a whole lot of legal red tape. At the time, my legal advisor was Sister Spady. You know, she helped me out with getting everything, making sure that I'm not liable if anybody trying to, you know, make profit off of it. And I made sure that everything that I said was, you know, for promotional use, not profit. And the hardest part about that album was I wanted it to have about 30, 40 songs. And Los was like, no, it should only be 14 songs. And you want to talk about drop down, bang up arguments. One, it was an argument because I didn't record it at Donland. Two, it was an argument because I wanted more songs up there. And it was to the point where Los was like, no, if not, I'm going to just drop the whole project. We just scrap everything. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, I don't want to scrap the project. I want to have the Donland backing on it just for, you know, for recognizable, you know, branding.
Yeah, branding looked great. And shout out to Los, Carlos Edgehill, a friend of mine that I go back with. It's interesting, you know, because Donland sprouted out. Donland's another whole conversation because Donland sprouted up at the same time we were actively promoting events at the Nancy Reagan right down the street. So, yeah, and so that's why I feel odd that there was so much close interaction and proximity, but I was a lot unaware. You know, I would check in every now and then with Los as they started to make noise and what's going on over there. You know, we got artists and studio, and we're building towards getting some type of distribution and all that. And I just checked in every now and then. I had a lot going on my own. I was still trying to be an artist and lead a team at that point of artists. And was promoting, you know, making flyers, doing everything that goes along with that. And so shout out to Rich Maddock and Nancy Reagan. We were right next to Donland, which I thought was great at that time period because Gray Street used to be the scumbag street of Richmond City. You know, that's where the Lee X Theater was. That's where you could buy drugs and prostitution at a certain point. And, you know, VCU cleaned all that up, but a lot of the younger kids don't know that was the scumbag block at a certain point. And I just felt appropriate that's where a lot of hip hop sprouted from. You know, at the Reagan, we had a lot of the punk scene and the hip hop scene merge, and it was a lot like the original New York scene where the punk and the hip hop merged uptown. So I just felt a lot of pride in the authenticity of the way that whole area and block and that time period felt. So, and we're talking about the project, and you said there was some conversation with Los about doing it or not doing it with Donland. What was your affiliation with Donland at that time?
All right, so back up about this was 2009. So back up a year.
Okay.
No, back up half a year, about 6 months. They had thrown a party there. And Brooklyn Mall was like, yo, I'm going to bring my DJ. And Los was like, no, I'm going to bring you. Get my. And Brooklyn Mall was like, no, it's my party. It's going to be my DJ. Right. And he was like, well, your DJ might be, trash. You're not. And Los literally was like, yo, your DJ not seeing my DJ.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Yes. So
I like this energy. I like that energy. Go ahead.
Brooklyn Mall brought this to my attention. And I was like, my whole thought was, F him and his DJ. I ain't gonna do nothing. She was like, no, just do it. She said, show him out. Show him what you do. I was like, you know what? You're right. I said, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna look at it. All of them. Then I'm gonna tell this DJ to get on. Then I'm gonna crush him. And she was like, that's what I'm talking about. So I'm building myself up for all this hype, right? Getting all rah. Yeah. This is why I say Los is a master. And I give him credit for he is a master motivator.
Yeah.
A master motivator. So we out promoting this party because like it's gonna be just dope. It's gonna be, and I'm like, yo, I'm telling everybody I'm gonna crush this DJ. I don't even know who he is. Yada 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 yada. I get there, do the party, burn it. Sorry, when I say burn, I mean I killed it. Like Los came up to me, he's like, yo, you all right? I was like, I'm all right. What? I had to dig into my bag, right? I even went deeper. So end of the night, he was like, yo, son, you was good. I was like, what happened to your DJ? I ain't got no DJ. He said, I call whoever I want to call. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, I wanted to make sure that you was ready for it. He was like, you see how many people was here?
Oh.
Yeah, he said, I wanted to make sure that her DJ was ready for it. I was like, what? I said to myself, man, that was good motivation. And I was like, so, and I just asked, I said, so do you have a DJ on your label? He was like, no, I was going to talk to you about that. He said, here's my number. Give me a call tomorrow. Matter of fact, come by. So we had this party on a Saturday. That Sunday, I got up, hit him around 12, went to the studio, had a nice big conversation, me and him, Uncle Jay, and the rest is history. After that, man, I was Donland DJ. And it was hectic at first because as a DJ, you're like, okay, I'm on this label, the indie label. What do I do? Oh, you do stuff for all the artists. You perform. You do this. But I was like, I didn't want to be, because I've already was that. I wanted to be a DJ that happened to be an artist, or an artist that happened to be a DJ. So I talked to Los. I was like, I want to put out projects. He was like, I'm waiting on you. And when he said that, I was like, what do you mean you waiting on me? He was like, I don't need nobody here that's just going to sit here and be lazy. He said, if I want people to walk around and yell Donland, he said, I could pay little kids on the street to do that. Master motivator. Master motivator. So I'm like, yo, are you thinking I'm lazy? What? And so here I am getting all juiced up to put out projects. I put out a couple mixtapes, and then that's when we did the album. And then fast forward to the album, and he and I was going back. We was in the office. You know how Donland was set up.
Well, you know, in respect to Los, you can't put 30 or 40 tracks on a project. I mean, that brings up a lot of difficulties.
and you know what?
And I feel you.
2020. Yeah,
He
was absolutely right.
I've been in that position before. We did a project where a lot of our friends and fellow MCs came together to do a project when our friend producer MC Chadrack from the Divine Prophets, when he passed, I pulled together a lot of people and we did a project, and we recorded 25 tracks, and it was really hard for me to cut any of them. Some of them had to be cut just for length of, we didn't want to do a double CD, and but it's just hard. When you put that much work and time and effort into making something, and they sound great, it's hard to not put them on a project because in your back of your mind they're going to fall into obscurity if they're not heard, and that's tough.
Right.
So I understand where you were coming from. But logistically, even Chris Brown had a hard time dropping 40 tracks.
Look, and like I said, that's why Los was 100% right.
Right.
So, all right, it's 20 tracks up there. So I told him it's going to be 14. I snuck the last 6 in there. When it got released, when it got released, he called me. He was like, yo, I downloaded it. It's 20 tracks. He didn't say congratulations.
Right.
He didn't say, yo, this is fire. This is dope. You know what Lo said? It's 20 tracks up here. Why the F is it 20 tracks up here? He said, you know what? We're going to talk about this. So,
no doubt.
You know what I was saying? I was like, all right, cool. I hung up. I was like, it's released now. What the hell are you going to do?
That's right. That's right. You should have quality control before it went to press. It's a done deal now. Well, I appreciate you. Getting halfway there with a little sneakiness. I've been known to be sneaky a little bit in my life. I appreciate a bit of sneakiness when in that situation.
Hey, all I know is he told me you release another album, it better have the same. I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. And I already know. Anytime I work with Los, that's gonna be the argument. Number of tracks and how he wanted it. I will give him credit for this. There was some tracks up there that I wanted up there, and he was like, no, it doesn't flow. It doesn't flow. It doesn't flow. And I'm like, it does. He was like, no. And looking back at it now, he was right. It didn't. Like, you live and you learn. And when you're so close to the project, like you said, you don't want to cut anything because of the obscurity factor.
Well, you feel like it's a waste. You feel like you wasted whatever you did putting into those songs because the chances that they're ever going to get heard on a large scale become, very low. So, yeah, I get it, man. It sounds like you and Donland got together right as the ray gun got sold and things started slowing down. My era, my generation of artists kind of took a big breath about that time. For me, it was personal. And Chadrack passing had a lot to do with it. He was a good friend and someone who I really looked at as a comrade in this hip-hop shit and just this life shit. We experienced a lot of the same things growing up. when you released, it was like 4 or 5 of these. How many of these did you release altogether?
6. Well,
6.
It's 5, and then the best of album.
5 and the best of. Okay, I got you. It's like you were fulfilling a contract. Did Los have you under contract over there? It's like you usually get the best of to fulfill the contract. The 6, like you had a 6-album deal over there. But no. I understand you wanted to sum up all of them in one, which you had a lot of highlights and you had a lot of big moments because, like we've talked about, you had a lot of major label artists intermingled with independent and I hate to use the word local, but VA artists. So do you have a relationship with Trigger the Gambler? I have met Trigger. He had moved to Richmond before I left, and I had done some shows where he came down and freestyled with some guys, and he was very generous and giving all the independent artists a big thrill by rapping with him on his track, which, hey, I got to admit, that was a big deal. Broken English was a big song to me. How did you come across your relationship with Trigger the Gambler?
All right, so he's from Brownsville. I'm from Bed-Stuy/Coney Island, and we know the same people, and then Los linked us together. But I DJ for him. So what happened at that party, and this is what I didn't know, that Trig was there. So at that party, he was like, you know what? Your man is hot. Los was like, that's not my man, but he will be. He was like, yo, I need him. And
Los is crazy. I don't want to speak out of turn. In my memory, Los is originally from New York as well. He just moved to VA very early, as a young man.
Yeah. He's from Brooklyn as well.
Right.
So
yeah. We've always in Virginia we always had to deal with the New York invasion early on the New York invasion.
Yeah, it's like, we were like roaches. We just came down and just
I wasn't going to say it like that, but okay, go ahead. You did. Go ahead.
I can say it because we did.
Right.
So I started DJing for Trig, and that's why it was like, I wanted to be different versus being an artist or a DJ. I wanted to be, just being a DJ on the label, I wanted to be an artist that happens to DJ. So that's how that happened. Working with Trig is fun, man. You get, oh my goodness, like besides the whole smooth factor, working with both of them is always something because you get to watch and see the process of how they bounce stuff off of each other, how they feed off it. It's like energy in the room. They could be writing and then they go into a freestyle and they start writing. Then it's like it's like watching Caffeine battle rapping each other, but they're not going at each other.
Right.
They're going at you, but they're doing it together. It's so unique, man, the way they do it. I love it. The energy is crazy, man. It's crazy.
I think creators
want to hear.
The process is always interesting, so I appreciate you giving us that insight into theirs because they definitely had a unique sound, and so you got to know that process is going to be different. To get that unique of a sound that they definitely had.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a secret. So the track that I did, that Trig did, on that one was, if I don't know how well you know God dang, I can't even think of the Hit Squad. Eric Sherman and everybody.
The two guys that came out under Eric from Virginia. Are you talking about those two guys? Yeah.
No, just them in general.
I'm aware. I can't remember their names, but I'm aware of the group you're talking about. If you're talking about the VA guys that had a group that came out under Eric Sermon, they had some Eric Sermon produced music in the early '90s. I can't remember their name for the life of me, but I know who you're talking about. If that's who you're talking about. No,
I'm just saying. I couldn't think of the Hit Squad.
Oh, just the Hit Squad in general. Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, K Solo.
So they have a producer, Sickness Beats. I met him, and what happened was, he and I got cool. So I was like, you know what? This is so funny. So for that song that Trig is on, I went to him. I was like, yo, I want to use this sample. I said, I know I'm not going to get it cleared. I said, but I'm going to use it anyway. And he and I worked on that track. Gave it to Trig on a Wednesday night. So Thursday morning, I had a song.
Wow. Wow.
Thursday morning, I had a song.
Wow.
Like literally,
They're old. They come from the days where you work at night because that's when the studio time was cheap. He stayed. Yeah. Right. So of course he probably started working on it about 10, 11, 12 at night. You know, put in a few hours and smoked a little bit, and then worked it out for you. I appreciate that. That is the. For the younger kids out there, before they were home studios, when people still recorded in main studios, a lot of times and a lot of your favorite rap songs had to be recorded in the dead of night or on holidays at the dead of night when no one else was purchasing studio time because the studio would give them very cut rates, half price off or whatever, and either you were getting a favor from a friend and they were sneaking you in or whatever like that. But that's just the way hip hop early on had to be recorded. So most people were used to working in the middle of the night. Now later, Pharrell is a big proponent of working during the day. Nowadays, everything's above ground, and we can, you can work from home. You can work whenever you want to work. So, but it was different back then. I like to highlight the differences.
And here's another difference between now and then. Now, you go in the studio, it's about 50 of your friends. Then, it was, and Los had this rule. If you're not recording, if you're not a producer, if you're not a DJ, if you're not an engineer, get the fuck out the studio.
Right. No dead weight. It's the best way to go. Yeah. Some people learned it the hard way. Some people, but I admit I've been guilty of gearing up to go to the studio and thinking about food and blunts and beer and liquor and everything but music. So I've been guilty of that. It happens. Just before we get off the subject of this whole commission series, which I'm going to put it into my phone and really dive into over the next few months, I really feel like El Stupido that I'm just catching up to this. But like I said, y'all really turned the heat on when I was taking a back seat and I was slowing down for a minute to reconsider things right when y'all were firing up. So now I kind of understand why we missed each other along the way. Just so these people will understand and they'll go listen to, and you can't even sell them. You signed paperwork saying you can't sell them.
Yeah,
so please go on the internet, search out DJTDUBB presents The Commission in association with Donland. You can Google all of those, and I'm sure you'll find it. Give us just a list of some of the artists that people would be aware of that are on this project. I don't want to cut you short. I know Talib Kweli. I know Trigger the Gambler. Give us any others that were on there that the people would know, so so they give a little inspiration to go check this thing out.
Smooth the Hustler, of course. Producers is Jahil Beats, Rampage, DJ XL, Freeway is on one.
There you go.
And that was Mano, Tone Trump.
Tone Trump, which later became big names. I mean, you were really ahead of the curve for some of these guys,
Yeah, the Tone Trump thing is because my man Cross, he and I got cool on Twitter, and he happened to be in Brooklyn. I was always back and forth to New York. He and I started hanging out when I would go up there. He would come down, couple parties, and we just went from, followers to friends to family. That's like my brother now, and he's cool with Tone Trump, and he linked me with Tone Trump, and oh man, it's been blessings ever since. I can say, yo, Cross, do you think Tone can do this for me? And no problem, boom. Yo, I want Tone to do the intro of my album. No problem. Like an hour later, he did it. Yo, I need a couple drops, and boom, he's always welcoming, always endearing. And he's just a great all-around guy. And, I have nothing but love, admiration, and respect for Tone Trump. Him, Rampage is called Ramp. Yo, bro, I need this. And, yo, I got you. And then it's a 30-minute conversation. But he going to get it done. He going to talk to you, but he going to get it done. And I just, it's a bunch of people. It's so many different, I guess you could say, major or side artists that I have nothing but gratitude and respect for one, trusting me with their music, but then two, believing in it enough to do it. Like, I'm gonna say this name and you gonna know this name. I went to him and I was like, yo, besides me being a fan, I'm working on this project that I need a song for, and I know you just dropped this single, so can I use the single on my project? First thing he said was, yo, this was in the DM. He said, send me your email. Sent him my email. We chopped it up a bit. He said, this is for this project. He said, and this is for another project that you have. Hopefully it's coming out soon. I said, actually, I do. I said, I have the 10-year anniversary album that I'm going to be doing in a few months. And I was like, man, I can't thank you enough. He said, I can't thank you for being a fan. I was like, come on, man. Nice and Smooth, one of my favorite groups.
Get
Smooth
out of here.
B.
Smooth B?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
man. Hold on.
Smooth B.
And Nice and Smooth, I mean, they've got so many songs. They go so far back and so many great party songs. As a hip-hop fan, I love those guys. As a DJ, I'm in debt to those guys for how many times one of their records just smashed up the party for me. And, you know, just seemed like legitimate good dudes. You know, so, man, that's an amazing thing. Smooth B, just set you up like that. You know, that's great, man.
Yeah. Not only did Smooth B give me the joint that he had, he gave me the joint with White Owl on it. So that was even that is what I call love right there.
Yeah, that's love, a lot of love
and
that's
appreciation. And that's why I'm like, man, I you know, you can't lose when you have that much positive chi and that blessing of people giving you stuff, man. Chino gave me a song with Young Dro on it, and he was like, yo. He said, don't release this yet. He said, this is going to be yours. He said, just don't release it until, and he gave me the date, and I didn't release it until after that date. The other songs he let me use, no problem. I'm like, man, when people start giving you love like that, all you can do is just be thankful and then put the work in and do the project. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think a part of the reason why they show you that love and respect, T, is because the graphics, the way the project sounded, you know, everything was professional and official. And so I think that goes a long way to credibility when the projects that you put together are great and the product sounds crisp and clean. And I know you wouldn't have it any other way between Carlos and Kleph. Let's talk about your impact in general, because there's another name that people out here are as much as all hip-hop fans are familiar with TDUBB and Trigger and Smooth B and these guys. They're, you know, of course, they're our foundation, our old school classics. You have a relationship, and you helped me formulate a relationship with one of Arizona's own legends and pioneers, Willie North Pole. Let's talk about that relationship. How in the world do you know Willie North Pole?
All right. Okay. So, funny story.
And Willie's mom, enough respect to Willie and his family. You mentioned his mother. Like, this is more than just an industry connection. So please break it down, because, you know, Willie, much like Mad Skills to Richmond, Willie is one of those guys that planted the flag for AZ. And, you know, the industry's tough. It shakes down different for everybody, and it shook down a little crazy for him. But, you know, you connected us, and I got him a little money, and he's going to be at the event today. They're honoring Willie at the AZMT year-end award show, and he's going to be there. He's going to be there today to receive an honor, and I think he's going to perform a little bit. And I'll be DJing that event, so I'll be bumping into him today. So this is very timely. Tell us how my DJ friend from Brooklyn, who lives in Richmond, somehow is so connected with one of Arizona's legends, pioneers. How did that happen, T-Dubb?
All right, it goes back to what you said before. Not only was the professionalism and everything, but the reputation that I had.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know how it is in this industry. No matter who it is, they're gonna do a call. They're gonna call and see who you are.
Yeah.
So, I knew Kino. I had a personal relationship with him. I had a personal relationship with Skills. So anybody calling them is good. That's whatever. Anybody call Trig, Los, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is when you do events and you do parties and you're there, you know. You go with Skills to Summer Jam, and you meet everybody, but you're not, I guess you can say, all starstruck. Because honestly, I walk in there like I'm the star. That's how I always been.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're from Brooklyn.
You carry yourself. Yeah, well.
It's not your fault. You were born in Brooklyn, so that's the way all Brooklynites come into a room. I understand. Go ahead, carry on.
Well, but you carry yourself as, hey, you know what? I've been there before. I've done it before.
Right.
I did this before. Like, I don't get nervous at the size of the event. I don't get nervous. Like, we did a joint with Trig and Ice-T for Coco in Maryland. Okay, yo, let my DJ get on. Cool. I didn't care how large the event was. Oh, let's do a show. Doesn't care. 5,000, 500, 5 people. It's the same to me.
Yeah.
So when that's the case, and then you can't stick to your schedule, stick to your word, you get burnt out in the next day or two. Because they be like, yo, I went trying to do this joint with Doug, and he fucked me on this project. Once that happens, it's as the kids say, that's a dub. It's over with.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened with Willie North Pole was, you're in Arizona now.
Yeah.
Remember way back in the day, him and Hot Rod had beef?
No, I don't know that story at all. I was an East Coaster, and I was barely keeping up with hip hop at the time when Hot Rod got signed to G Unit. Willie North Pole got signed by Ludacris's group. I may be speaking out of turn, but anyway, I was aware.
No, DPP,
I was aware. I was very aware of Hot Rod because G Unit was still. They were reconditioning. They were buying a bunch of New York rappers and trying to branch out and rebrand. And so I was aware of Hot Rod, and he had very big records, even though they didn't really come across. He had big records. And Willie North Pole, this is just my East Coast opinion, living in Richmond at the time. He was the second guy that was coming behind or along with Hot Rod, and I really didn't hear any of his music at the time. And both of them being on the East Coast, they kind of fizzled out before I had much recognition of them. So that's just my history with that, And out here, I've been getting stories, listening to music. Willie breaks down his plight in some of his songs. So I've been picking it up piece by piece, but I was not aware that they had beef, not at all.
All right.
Please fill me in from the East Coast. Please fill me in.
Yeah, so I knew about it because, all right, this is my second iteration of Spin Syndicate DJs. I found out about it through one of my DJs, DJ Hollywood, who happened to be in LA at the time.
Okay.
So he was like, yo, you got to hear this joint, man. He said, he was telling, what he was talking about Hot Rod. He was like, yo, he said, these two rappers going back and forth. He said, yo, this shit is fire. So I'm listening to it, and I'm loving it. I'm like, yo, this is what hip-hop needs on the mixtape level, like some beef, because I'm like, when I tell you I'm into it, I'm like, yo, I got to have this more and more. But as much as I was liking what Hot Rod had to say, Willie North Pole's flow was just so cold, man. It was just, I was like enamored with his flow, and I was like, yo, this dude is going to be it. Like, he's going to be it. So then you fast forward. Of course, Rod gets signed to G Unit. I see the Mary joint, Take It Easy. I see Willie North Pole in there. I'm like, okay, they squashed the beef, and they boys cool. Hey, both of them coming out of AZ, that's going to be dope for them.
Mm-hmm.
Then, boom. Next thing you know, North Pole ends up DTP, and he does this song called The Streets with Sharifa. Swerve. When I heard that song, to this day, that's one of my favorite songs of all time. Like, when I tell you I love that song, it's his flow, his delivery, his content, everything. It was just crazy. So he was on Twitter, and I was like, yo, man, I've been a fan for a minute. I said, yo, that joint you did, The Streets, was crazy. And I wasn't expecting a response. I was just letting them know, hey, if you read it, cool.
Yeah.
He responded. He was like, word. And he was like, what else you know? I was like, and I started going through different joints, and he was like, okay, all right. And I never forget, I had just did a party. I came home. I was married at the time. I came home, woke up, and my ex-wife, she was making some food. So he was on Twitter, and I was like, it's funny, I'm listening to your song now. And I started typing it, and was going back and forth. And next thing I know, it said, Willie North Pole is following you. And after that, man, it was just stay connected. We talk every now and then. And I was like, yo, I want to do a party. I said, I want to bring you out to this side. And then we started talking business after we exchanged numbers. And then it just went from there, man. We would call. And the funny thing was, it was my birthday. And he called. He was like, yo, happy birthday. He was like, your birthday is, 4 days after mine. I was like, what? I didn't even know that. And he's like, how you a fan? You don't know that? I said, I'm a fan. I ain't a Sixers fan. And we went back and forth joking about that. And man, after that, man, we just got tight, and that's my brother, man. I love that dude, man. That's
cool.
my brother, man.
That's cool.
Anything he needed, I told him I got him. The only one thing, though, I'm mad at him for one thing. You know, and when you see him, let him know. I told him to put me on his live the other day. He didn't put me on until late.
Oh, he didn't put you on the live, huh? The modern day social media problems. Modern day social media problems.
Exactly.
Well, I hope I'll get to talk to him today and show my respect for his craft, and also apologize. I'm not quite sure. That gig I got him out to with the block, I'm not quite sure how that went. So I'm going to be delicate when I speak to him. I'm not, I hope it went well. I hope someone put money in his pocket. I don't know 100% that happened, so we'll see about that. He may not want to talk to me after that event. We'll see. But I'm hoping to get Willie one day.
Put it this way.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
He didn't say anything to me.
Good.
He didn't say anything to me,
Good.
so you should be good. Because what he would do, he'd be like, yo, your man ain't do me right.
Yeah,
and then I was like,
you ran me up on a snag. You ran me up on a snag, TDUBB. What the fuck? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't think it went really wrong. So I hope we still can build a relationship. I would love to have him into the show for the mission, because I believe his stories are just, man. A story like his is just a diamonds and platinum to me, because, and I think these artists need to hear it, that a lot of people have been put into the position where they're the man of the hour, and things go wrong in this industry. Things get shaken up. Things go wrong. There's personalities. There's timing. There's a million things that can go right or wrong. So, and I think those stories are the true golden stories. Willie North Pole, much like there's a guy named Emerge McVeigh that had a group named Bionic Jive that was signed to Interscope, and had big placements and looked like they were going to be the next big thing, and their whole project got shelved, like happens a lot at Interscope. And I think those behind the scenes stories, one, are incredibly interesting, but two, they're an important story for other artists, and especially younger artists, to hear. Maybe to keep them humble, so that even when you're the man on top, you never know. You got to keep working and keep grinding. So I would love to get Willie North Pole in to hear his whole story, because I know it's a genuine and a wonderful and a completely interesting story. I would be enthralled by it to hear it. So I'm working on that. We're building the show up, and we're getting our listeners together so that we can have, like you said, a respectable, professional platform that people of all levels of entertainment will want to partake in and promote themselves, listen to their story. We're here today talking to you. I'm just as interested in anybody about your story, because this is a Richmond story, and I appreciate that. Richmond's my hometown. Did you ever do any shows with all of these CDs you dropped regularly? Did y'all do shows, or did you promote around these shows? I'm jumping back to Richmond, but
yeah, no.
What happened with Donland? How did all this? It seems like you're building to an incredible crescendo. Something must have happened. What happened?
All right. Well, when Donland folded at the time, I literally, I was like, I hate to say it this way, I was like Prince. I didn't have, when he went from Warner Brothers to, I think he went to, I think he did go to Interscope. I don't know, but either way, I bounced around. So I was with ICE, Inner Circle Entertainment.
Okay.
So that was a learning experience, because here I am. I'm DJTDUBB. I'm fresh off of Donland. Like, everybody knows who I am.
Right. You've got projects with major artists. You've got major projects. You've got, you got a lot under your belt. You've got respect from multiple levels. So, yeah, you don't have anything to prove to anybody in Richmond at this point, certainly.
Yeah, but you do. You know why? Because at the end of the day, you learn, what, no matter how high that cloud that you're on, it's what have you done for me lately?
Yeah. Definitely.
It's literally, what have you done for me lately? So while I was on that cloud, I got real lazy. Like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. I'll get to it. And True was like, yo, we got to get this done, and we need this done by this time. And he was like, yo, we're going to have to part ways. He's like, what? You dropping me? And I'm sitting there like, how you going to, I'm feeling myself. Like, how you going to drop me? And I'm thinking to myself, damn. So that was a humbling, get your ass off your back experience for me, that I needed to go through because
like a reboot. Sometimes you got to reboot the computer. I think you're being very clear. You needed a reboot, a reset at that time.
Yeah, I did, and because I'm not gonna lie, I swear, I was an asshole. Like even people on my team was like, "Yo, you getting mad Hollywood right now," because I was doing CIAA events.
You feeling good? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I didn't talk to Mike about doing the holiday mixes on 106.5, so I'm like, I'm the shit. Like, I did the Valentine's Day mix with RJ, so I'm like, I'm thinking, you the shit, but at the same time,
you ringing bells with the big names in the city. I get it.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, okay, what have you done for me lately? You know, and I'm going to New York doing shit with Cross up in Brooklyn Nights, going here, going there, chilling with DJ NO, and what have you done for me lately? Nobody cares about, you know, who you know, how much money you made, how many shows you did, who you went on tour with. They don't care about none of that. It's what are you doing for me right now that's going to benefit me? Yep. Besides you being an ass. So when that happened to me, I literally took about 7-8 months to reevaluate how I do things and to gain my humility back. And at the time I was doing that, that's when I started really rocking with Noah, and he came up with the idea and the concept of having charged up DJs. And I was like, yeah, but at the time I'm saying to myself, all right, is this the universe telling me you ready? Or is this the universe saying, all right, don't mess this up?
Now, that's a good subject. That's a good subject to get into because I want to talk about this. I had been DJing for Noah for several years before I realized there was even a charged up DJs, and I was never invited until God bless his soul. I want to talk about this great man named Freeze.
Yes.
What part did Freeze have to play? Did Freeze have a part in creating charged up DJs as well, or am I mistaken by saying that?
A huge part.
Okay, good.
A huge part.
Because that's what he told me. I didn't want to be wrong, but that's what he told me. God bless his dead. Rest in power. One of the nicest guys I ever encountered in hip hop. Freeze, Josh Freeze, and so yeah, explain. So I don't want. I'm a quick cut, and you get into that, and then I'll tell you my story about how Freeze inducted me as not even Noah, that Filipino son of a bitch, but Freeze inducted me as a charged up DJ. But please, and I was at that time I barely knew you. I kind of was like, who is DJT? I didn't know what was going on. I was confused and failing fast. So fill us in on how the beginning of, because Noah has really grown the charged up brand into a great big thing, a big umbrella of artists and products now.
Yes.
I'm really proud of him, and this is a great story. I'm going to clip out and promo. Give us the beginning of Charged Up DJs.
All right, first, I owe you an apology. I owe you a sincere apology.
No one owes Swerve an apology.
You know why?
No. Why? Okay, why? I'll listen.
Because I was told that I need to link with you about being a DJ. And through just not so much putting it off, saying, all right, I'm gonna get to it, I'm gonna link with him.
You were on your shit though. You were on your shit back then though. You're like, what, Swerve?
No, I knew who you were because we were at several events together.
No, we were. I remember now that I think back during that time period, because for a while I couldn't even get the time period correct. But now that I think back at that time period, I definitely remember you being around at the gigs that I was around at. I know we spoke and things. It's just we never really connected or built on that level, you know.
Yeah. So they had an event at the Camel, and this was when I met you, and because I knew who you were. Because at the time, Hyperlink, they was like, yo, nobody turned this down since Swerve. I was like, what? I'm like, huh? I kept hearing the name. I'm like, what the fuck is Swerve? And in my head, I'm like, I need to link with him. Like, I gotta get him on my team. If everybody talking about him.
Yeah.
So Noah was like, I went out of town. I came back, and Noah was like, yo, he said, don't be upset. He said, yo, Swerve gonna DJ this joint for us. I was like, what am I upset for? I get to walk around and I literally said, I get to walk around and talk to people, something I don't get to do. He was like, all right, cool. So I ran up on stage, gave you that, gave you a hug, got off, and that's when I had met you. But at the time, because I had DJed for Freeze, so from the VA Strong Tour up until, I don't know, like a couple years after that, I was Freeze DJ. So fast forward to the whole Charged Up DJ thing, everybody was like, yo, you got to link with Swerve, you got to link with Swerve. And I'm like, all right, I will. I just never got around to it. So that falls on me.
To be honest, I never in my life, I had good friends I DJ'd with from time to time, but I never in my life joined DJ coalitions. That became more of a popular thing as I was being a rapper and an artist, and people could never figure out what I was because I started out DJing for a lot of years, and then I became an artist and rapped and pursued that for a good number of years. Then when I was tired of rapping, I fell back to DJing again. So people have always had a hard time. It depends on where you know me from or how old you are, depending on what you think Swerve does. Nowadays, I'm a podcaster, and I'm falling away from everything else because I'm very much enthralled in this world. But I appreciate all of that. And just to tell you a sweet story about our friend Josh Freeze Reed. Freeze, I was at a gig and I was talking to Freeze about it because I didn't think he had anything to do with it. And I said, yeah, the weirdest thing is I've been doing these rebirth shows with Noah for several years. I think maybe had even started doing the shoe conventions. I'm not sure when it was, but I was sitting there talking to Freeze, and I said it's the weirdest thing. He's got Charged Up DJs, and I've been actively DJing for him for years, and I'm not a Charged Up DJ. And he smiled and laughed. He said, Swerve, do you want to be a Charged Up DJ? I said, well, it doesn't really, like, I've never joined coalitions. It doesn't really matter one way or the other to me. When I figured it out, I just thought it was odd, that. But he said, let me tell you something. He said, I was a part of creating Charged Up DJs because I wanted a promotion unit that didn't have my name on it so that I could pretty much, and so he was way ahead of all the social media shit. Nowadays people got 10 accounts so they can big themselves up on social media and look good. And he already had that. He created Charged Up DJs, is what he told me, so that he could promote himself and his friendly artists, and it would look like a separate unit, a separate entity promoting, and it wouldn't be him. And the nicest guy, he felt my pain immediately and immediately offered what he thought I was after. And it was just interesting to me to know the story. And at the end of the day, since then, I've been a Charged Up DJ, and I still claim that. And as Noah gets more and more popular, I will continue to claim it. And we all thought Noah was going to blow directly after the MTV video. That was a huge step for him at that time. And it left everybody wondering, how the fuck did Noah O get a video on MTV 1, 2, 3, whichever one played videos. I don't think MTV 1 even played videos at the time. But anyway.
No, it was MTV 2, yeah.
So salute to the sweethearted man, Josh Freeze Reed, and salute to my homie Noah O. He's got a brand new hat they just dropped, the Peace hat, building on the Change hat that sold out. So I'd just like to give him that shout out. For everything he's doing, and really for everything everybody is doing in Richmond. I love talking UT-Dub because I really think, we're a part of the soil that these flowers are growing out of now.
Oh, yeah, man. They little do they know.
Bringing people together, making it an established, in a city that's not used to having regular hip-hop events, just getting regular hip-hop events established, getting people used or aware that there is music in their city. And now Richmond, as it should be, is regarded as one of the best small music cities in the country. All of the people we've been talking about, some we haven't. A lot of my friends, people I'm friendly with, are really prospering at the small scale marketing and the getting a good number of fans and selling to them and just creating their own lane, staying independent, not trying to be the king of the city, not trying to go and get a major record deal. They're all making their own way in their own way. So I got a lot of love for everybody doing it in Richmond and the Tri-Cities area right there, Richmond, Petersburg, and Hopewell.
Yeah, let me tell you, man. They did an event last, I think it was December. It was December because, 2020 has been so long.
It feels like yesterday. Yeah, it feels like yesterday. I get it, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it was last year before the turn of the year in December. And Radio B, Mike Millions, Ella, Nick F, I have nothing but love for them. Nothing but love. So I saw the event and I was like, I'm gonna go to this. I went and bought a ticket, do like I did, nice little table up at the front, making sure everything was good. And when I got there, it was like, yo, bought a ticket. I was like, yeah, why didn't you call? I'm thinking to myself, why didn't I call? But I'm like, yeah, it's all good. I was like, I'm gonna support you guys,
Yeah.
And when I tell you the love that they showed, because at that event, Skills popped through. And when Skills came through, he got the shout out, blah, 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 like you normally would.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then when Radio saw me, he was like, yo, my man DeeJayTDUBB here. And the accolades he gave me were enough to make me like, damn, man, that really humbled me, man, that Radio felt that way about me. Because I consider him, Mike Mills, Gallo, Ella, Nick F. To me, I consider them stars.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, they stars to me.
Yeah.
But the love and the accolades that he gave me, man, was so cool. And it was just, I was beyond humble. And then, of course, seeing Skills, it's always good to see my man Skills. So the whole Richmond thing, man, it is growing at a very, very, and I mean lucrative level. Like, to the point of, they keep doing what they're doing, it is going to be the central mid-Atlantic hub for hip-hop.
Yeah, it's just gonna take a little bit for it to spark off because the infrastructure, everything is there now where not much of it existed around 2000. And the scene has really come up and thrived. And I think it's really big that Skills has come back and touched base with the scene. He's doing his own things, man of many talents. But for a while, I think it was a big disconnect between people like Skills and the local or independent artists. And I think now they're connected. Now they're connected more than ever. And I think everybody has a great deal of respect for each other. Even on social media, I just do not see loose hate. I don't see the backbiting or the crabs in a barrel. I just don't see that in Richmond anymore. And I think that's a big part of their progress. And that's the kind of thing we're working on out here in Phoenix because there's still there's still some of that in a lot of ways out here in Phoenix. So we're trying to work on it and get it to a better place and get these artists to see that, they'll go further supporting each other than they will hating on each other.
Man, let me tell you, I had to check myself a couple of times.
Yeah. Every now and then I still hate on Swerve De Niro just because it's fun. Every now and then I still hate on Swerve De Niro because he took my name and shit. We had to change names and everything because of his foolishness. He could have just been Swivel De Niro or something. It would have been fine, but now he had to be Swerve. So I fall into the hate every now and then myself. I agree. But it's all good. I got no hate in my heart for dude. I got no hate in my heart. I'm just kidding. T-Dub, are you there? Hold on, wait a minute. Okay, you're there. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm not even going to touch that one.
Yeah. No, he's a good dude. I got no hate in my heart. It's all good. I wanted to rap anyway. I was tired of DJing at the time. I gladly let him have the lane, and he ran with it. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, no. So let me, like I said, all right, so now that I apologize, so then we do the charged up thing. So what I did, and this is what I told them that would make it so much easier, because I don't have to recruit. I could assimilate, because at the time I had about 50 DJs, and I had I had them all scattered all over the world because I had 2 in London, 1 in Africa, 1 in Australia, 1 in Germany. So I assimilated my Syndicate DJs to Charged Up. And it was almost like running 2 coalitions, but the way I was doing it was like running 2 coalitions. When at the end, before I got burnt out, I said, hold up. I'm just going to be in charge. I'm going to appoint people to run different sectors of it. And when I started doing that, it started freeing me up to do the Charged Up DJs brand. And that's why my second album, the second and third one, they're released under Charged Up.
Got you. Well, let me. As far as the Spin Syndicate DJs, I thought they were just in the United States. You're saying the Spin Syndicate DJs is global. They're around the globe. Is that still to this day?
Yes,
Well,
still to this day.
Before we get out of here, I want to get a commitment from you that I can send you. We'll start easy, 5 or 10 records a month. You send me 5 or 10, I send you 5 or 10. Can we do something like that?
I can send you 5 to 10, and you can send me 5 to 10. I will be glad.
And your records, I will submit to the AZ DJ pool. All of our DJs out here, and our DJs are not just in Arizona; they are all across the west of the America, and so California, Washington, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. You send me 5 or 10 records, I'll send you 5 or 10 records. Your 5 or 10 records will go to my DJ pool, and they will begin to play them and circulate them. And my 5 or 10 Arizona records will go to you, and you can circulate them to your DJs, and we will just make each other better and stronger by doing this. Is that agreeable to you? Can I get a sign-off on that?
You can get a sign-off and a promise on that.
I appreciate it, DJTDUBB. I appreciate it. Well, my only advice to everybody in Richmond would be leave. Not that there's something wrong in Richmond. You can always leave in Richmond, but please, you will never be as great in your hometown as you will other places. I think Jesus spoke on that. I think it's something biblical and strong to that. I think you have to get out of your hometown. I think everybody that does is rewarded for it. And, hey, you can always go back and live in Richmond. I'm sure I'll be back to Richmond soon enough. I want to sign off with you. Is there anything else you want to get across before we get out of here today, DJTDUBB?
Yes, please, by all means, go to DatPiff, look up my albums, stream them, listen to them, enjoy them. There's a lot of hard work, not just from me, but production, writing, artistry.
Right.
And you're gonna love them.
Look at the name, just like it's spelled, DJTDUBB. That's at DJTDUBB on Instagram. Please go listen to the Commission series, The Empire Strikes Back, all of the full-length projects. Big names on them, great independent artists on them. Hit him up on Instagram. I think that would be the payoff for you at this point, is just hit you up on Instagram and let you know you enjoyed the music. Let him know what your highlight tracks were, what your favorite project was. I think any kind of communication at this point would be a great payoff for where you're at with those projects. Am I correct,
By all means.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, man,
by all means. Please.
I want to do this with you again, maybe on another level off air, maybe again on air. If you've ever got anything to promote or something big coming up, you need to talk, I'd appreciate it and would want you to give me a call and tap into the mission, and we'd be glad to talk with you.
Man, I love it. I appreciate the time, and thank you so much. You guys keep doing your thing, man. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. Much love, blessings, and success.
Hey, respect to you. We're